Hey, it's Tuesday. It's Wednesday. I'm a day behind. I wasn't feeling that well yesterday, so I didn't record. But I'm still in week 6 of my challenge to myself, which is to record one video each week for 52 weeks to give myself some consistency, to give myself um, something to look forward to, and to upload some things to my YouTube channel. So I get some content. So every week I have to come up with, well, what am I going to talk about this week? I got a lot of subjects I could talk about. How about that Bad Bunny, huh? Even though I love, I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan by default because both of my kids are Eagles fans, and they weren't in the Super Bowl. Even when they were in the Super Bowl, I did watch. I watched when they were in the Super Bowl because I had been invited to a Super Bowl party in Las Vegas. I was living in Las Vegas last year when they won the Super Bowl, and so I was invited to the party. So I was outside in Vegas partying and talking trash and all those things. But this year I didn't have any interest in nobody. Somebody did invite me to come back to Vegas. But why? I don't know those teams. I don't think I know a player that's playing for either the Seahawks or the New England Patriots. So, whatever. But the Bad Bunny show. And I will just one shout out to Bad Bunny and to the work that he did and that he put in the midst of the storm, right? He had to be himself and chose to be himself in a national way. All the while, there's a group of people that were like, we don't understand. I'm a hip hop head. I don't understand all the lyrics of any of the rappers, right? I remember when who was it? LL Cool J, when he came out with "I Need Love," I understood all them lyrics. When Will Smith started doing it, I can understand some of his, but sometimes they go real fast. So it's just an excuse. The beat, the vibe was good. The message was good. His presence, Bad Bunny's presence, the way he brought people together, fantastic. So that's my. Anybody care anything about my opinion about the Super Bowl of 2026? That's it. And yes, making me feel bad because I kept saying, man, I took Spanish probably in middle school, high school, middle school. I don't know Spanish. I don't know. But that's not his problem. That's my problem. That's a me problem. Totally. I mean, like, I don't want people around me speaking Spanish. That sounds crazy. It's not my world like that. Yeah, and the joy that I saw displayed from my Puerto Rican and other Caribbean friends and folks who they saw themselves represented and they were so proud. That's what's up. So the topic for this week's Chronicles of a Freshman Senior, that's me, I'm LaRonda. I am learning how to be not going to work every day, not working full time. This is my new jam. I want to build community. My primary audience, I want to build community for Black women over 50. I want to teach y'all that we don't just have to be, we're not just mules. We don't have to just work, right? And a part of that, for me, is to have this channel. Because this is one of the things that I'm doing while I'm not at work listening to somebody else tell me about their dreams and wishes and what their mission, vision, and values are. This is my mission, vision, and value, and that is to educate the world the way I want the world to be educated. These are my opinions, my thoughts, my creative juices are flowing. My thumbnail I created by myself. I went on YouTube. I went on uh, Google and looked at some of the 100-year anniversary flyers that I saw, and I designed my own. I was going to take one of theirs, and then I thought, well, I don't want to take someone else's intellectual property. So I created one. In celebration, this is the week, this theme this week is, I want to shout out Dr. Carter G. Woodson and thank him for creating Negro History Week, which has evolved into Black History Month. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Carter G. Woodson because I think it's important that we continue to give him his credit, give him his flowers for creating something. He created it really for Black people so that we could realize that we do have a culture. For me, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and I never knew a time where I didn't know Black people had a culture. We were the culture in Detroit. And then I, left here and I've lived in a lot of different places, 11 different states here in the United States, and even at one time lived outside of the country. So I do know that there are other cultures. Again, back to Bad Bunny, and I haven't been to Puerto Rico, but I've got a friend who's got a house there who goes there in the summertime, and I've promised I'm gonna go. I promise I'm gonna go. I've just had, put some things in place, and that's the thing about being retired or not working full time is you have to structure things a little differently. When you're working full time, you have that gig, right? Either you're going to work, or once you're coming home from work, you're planning to go back to work. What does work have to do with your life, and how are you going to get vacations and those kinds of things? With this new schedule, I've got some other things that I have to prioritize and think about as I plan my time. I have more free time. I don't have the salary that I had when I was working. So again, I have to budget my coins a little differently. But I'm going to go to Puerto Rico. I'm not very limited in the things that how I can move around still, because I'm a baller on a budget, and I know how to manage my money well and not put myself in debt. I don't live on credit cards, etc. We'll talk about that another time. Right now, I'm going to talk about Dr. Woodson and him being born in the 1800s and going to school when he was 20 years old. He was finally able to sit in a classroom, and I've gathered some resources that I'm going to put at the bottom of this video so that you can go and look it up yourself. It's done some pretty cool AI videos about Dr. Woodson. Pretty cool in terms of sharing information. The images still need to be refined. But he was the second Black man to get a PhD here in the United States, behind W.B. Du Bois. So Dr. Woodson, as I said, went to formal school when he was 20 years old, and then was able to move his way, get his high school diploma, undergrad, etc., and then get his PhD from Harvard University. And while he was there, and he was a teacher, and he decided, and he had discovered that the Black folks that he was coming in contact with were feeling like they didn't have a culture. So he formed the Association for the Study of the Negro Life and History, right? Which was an organization that he created for academic knowledge about Black people. And in 1916 is when he started Negro History Week. And he chose the second week in February, which we're in right now, because it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass's birthday that they celebrated, because I don't think they really knew when his birthday was, but February 14th was the date that was chosen for his birthday. And so that was a kind of the catalyst. If you're starting a business or something, you want a hook. This is me. I'm out here like, well, what's my hook going to be? My hook is I am me. I'm being my authentic self. I am putting myself out here. I'm making mistakes. I'm being vulnerable. And I am a humble human being. I am flawed, just like we all are flaws. And yeah, so Dr. Woodson inspires me, has inspired me for as long as I've known his story, because I'm like, man, back in the 1915s, 1916, the type of pushback that he received, right? Because Black History Month did not become a month until officially was Gerald Ford. Is that his name? President Ford. Yeah. He signed the official acknowledgement of February, saying that February would be Black History Month. And of course, as soon as that happened, then that kind of legitimized the teaching of Black history in schools and colleges. Before that, churches were already doing it. Other private organizations and groups, Black people were having Black history parades, just like, Juneteenth just became a legal thing a few years back. But Black people have been knowing about Juneteenth and celebrating Juneteenth and have before anybody told us that and that's the way we have always had to move as Black folks, especially here in the United States, because they don't want us to do stuff. And they want us to sit back and wait for permission. And if we sit back and wait for permission, we're not going to be able to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. My YouTube channel, I don't know what I'm trying to work on, but Stephanie Perry said, go for it. And you don't know who Stephanie Perry is? Look her up on YouTube. She's that woman, and she's doing it her way, and she encourages us Black women to do it our way, and that's me. I'm like, I don't know who might want to listen to this, but if you choose to listen, if you're here listening, thanks, y'all. So Black history was, I was thinking about when I used to go to a church in New Jersey, and it was a predominantly Black church. And during the month of February, the pastor and the team decided that they would use the month of February to be kind of multicultural month, which I did not care for, really, because we only have these 28, 29 days if it's leap year. That's all we got. And I know all the rest of the time we Black, and we were having Black musicians and those kinds of things show up at this in the church, but I thought that was creative of him. And here we are in 2026 where they want to take our history out of the schools. And again, there are a lot of cultures that don't even barely get mentioned. I think about I think other cultures that barely get mentioned, including the Native Americans who were here before we ever even got here. It's their land, and we can't teach the kids that it's their land. Terrible. But that's our history. That's our history. And there's always been pushback. But Dr. Woodson created Negro History Week in order for our history to not be set aside. So it doesn't matter how many laws are passed or bills are passed or whatever that say that our history cannot be taught, as long as, I'm here. I'm going to be teaching it. I'm going to teach it on my YouTube channel. I'm going to teach it in my home. I'm going to make sure that my grandson knows his history, and to the best of my knowledge, because I spent some time doing my genealogy and trying to figure out where my people came from. I had a long way to go with that. Um, but the accomplishments of Black people, we have accomplished so much. And I want to shout us out and take this opportunity to um, thank Dr. Carter G. Woodson for having the forethought. I can put myself in his shoes for a minute as I, again, try to build this YouTube channel and be in these social media streets and that, and think what it must have been like for him back in his day, trying to figure out how to accomplish his goals, right? But you planted the seeds, Dr. Woodson, and I, for one, am one person who is doing my best to make sure that your vision never dies. Thanks, y'all. Have a great rest of your week. Week 6, I did it.